Welcome back, my dears. If you're new here, I am Pamela, or Pam, for those of you that are already members of the Pam fam. On this channel, I provide fragrance recommendations, reviews, and tips to help you curate and care for your perfume collection. Now, I do plug in a little fun family, beauty, makeup, lifestyle, as well as some motivational content here and there. And I do this because I found it to be helpful in elevating my journey in this life. Now today I am sharing perfumes I selected for my February fragrance lineup, and obviously I included some black-owned brands. So grab yourself a drink and a snack and let's get started. My first fragrance I want to talk about on this month's list is from the house of Maison De Darius. This is a perfume house that's black-owned brand out of the DC metro area. Now this perfume, I bought it when the fragrance house was just getting off the ground. This is what my bottle looks like. It is called Notorieta. This is a beautiful amber caramelly oudy fragrance. It has a bit of sandalwood in there. It's a very smooth fragrance, beautifully blended, a high concentration of fragrance oil in Notorieta. Now the bottles look like this now, so it's a lot more, upscale looking, but I absolutely love Notorieta. It's my favorite from this house, and I had to include it, number one, because of the month that we're in, and because I love Notorieta so much. The next perfume in this month's lineup is from City Rhythm, and the creator of this house is Niles Ramadan, and he's a fellow Trinidadian. So of course, your girl is going to support. Well, actually, I'm not just supporting because Niles is a Trinidadian. I'm also supporting because his fragrances are that good. His perfumes are unilaterally, in my opinion, gender fluid, meaning that anybody could wear them, and they're all inspired from cities across the United States. Now, my favorite perfume is inspired by my favorite city, of course, because I migrated to Miami. I just gave away the name of the perfume. Anyways, Miami is the name of the perfume. Miami is beautiful because it's got tonka beans, cedar, tobacco. It's got some rum in there, sugarcane. I absolutely love this perfume. It's one of my favorites in my entire collection. Now this I am excited to have in my collection and definitely to be in my perfume tray this month. This is Exalte Perfume by Fumi Monet and Bella Aura Skincare. Guys, this is such a fantastic fragrance. Exalte is only currently available in 30 ml size, so if you're buying it, I'm telling you buy two because you will run through this perfume, especially if you're a rose lover, if you love orange blossom, if you love soft marshmallowy, fluffy type fragrances, you're gonna love this fragrance. If you own it, pull it out and wear it this month as well. Join me, why don't you? Okay. Now I love this fragrance because Exalte makes me feel very special. It's a bold, sexy, yet demure fragrance. I also love the creative, the thought process behind this perfume. It's absolutely phenomenal, and that's why it's in my perfume tray for this month. The next fragrance in my lineup is from Rose Gold Fragrance Company. Guys, I know, y'all tired of hearing me talk about Rose Gold Fragrance Company, but this fragrance house does not get enough talk. The community is, I don't know, y'all sleeping. Rose Gold Fragrance Company produces beautiful fragrances. They also do inspired fragrances as well. But my favorite is their perfumes and, of course, their skincare. They do body butters as well. They're phenomenal. For a small house, they're doing great things. Now, the fragrance I selected from this house is Pretty, and I put this in my lineup this month because I love the fragrance. It's the month of love. The fragrance is actually created for his mother, but it's a very sexy blueberry rose fragrance. It's a very soulful rose. There is nothing on the market out there like Pretty from Rose Gold Fragrance Company. I will be including a fragrance from Chris Collins on my perfume tray this month. But before we talk about what perfume I'm including, let me tell y'all, he just dropped a new one called Less, and I haven't gotten my nose on that one yet. My recommendation to you, if you've never tried Chris Collins before, he has discovery sets on his site as well as in Sephora. Yes, child, Chris Collins is in Sephora. So get your nose on some of his fragrances because I promise you, you will not regret it. But for me, the fragrance that I am wearing this month is coming from this set. This is the Chris Collins Anima Voyager set, and I have the pleasure of having 4 fragrances that I actually like layering with each other. As you can see, these little decants already got some dents in them, and I won't pick one fragrance. What I'm going to do is layer them together. So that's how I'm going to be wearing this month. So, I mean, I could say I have 4 fragrances I'm wearing from the house, but technically, I'm just going to be layering them all together. Let me know if you've tried anything from Chris Collins or any of the brands that I mentioned before. So next on my perfume tray is Instant Crush by Mancera. Guys, this is one of the fragrances that I really adore because I do like saffron quite a bit. So if you're a saffron lover, in my opinion, you're going to like Instant Crush. Now, it is strong and it can come off a little screechy, not as, fine-tuned to some, some noses, but I actually really enjoy it. So I'm going to have this in my February tray, as well as Jasmine OD by Healy. Now, I am getting rid of a lot of Healy perfumes from my collection, but this one is here to stay, primarily because it's jasmine, duh. I do love sweet and I do love florals, and I think that's why Jasmine OD is one of my favorite fragrances in my collection, and I absolutely am happy to have it in my tray this month. As a matter of fact, I think I've worn it twice already. The next fragrance on my tray is by Mind Games, and this is French Defense. This was one of my gifts this year. I am really excited about wearing this month because this is a cherry that is soft, it is sumptuous, it is so well blended. It's not overtly almond or overtly cherry or overtly anything. It's just perfectly blended. This is one of the best fragrances from the Mind Games house. French Defense brings the heat. It brings the fire. And I'm excited to wear it with other fragrances, do some layering combos with it. Number one, because, I love the fragrance, but number two, because it costs a lot of money, y'all. And it was a gift for Christmas. So I want my husband to see me wearing French Defense as much as possible. Another fragrance that I'm happy about wearing this month is Cherry Syrup Intense, and this is by Proad. This is a house out of Bangkok, Thailand. Now, if you've not tried anything from this house and you like cherry, please give yourself an opportunity to let your nose get on this bad boy. It is a mixture, in my opinion. It comes off as a mixture between Lost Cherry by Tom Ford, Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait, and a little bit of cherry punk, perhaps. I really enjoy this fragrance a lot. As you can see, I don't even have a significant dent in it, and I've worn this perfume quite a bit already. I promise you, I've at least worn it 5 times already. I will say that it is a little oily, so I don't like to spray it on my clothes because I don't want to stain my clothes, but sometimes I don't really care depending upon what I'm wearing. I'm just happy to have it in my tray this month. So Cherry Syrup Intense by Proad. I haven't worn this house for a while. This is Enslaved by Rouge, and I brought this out particularly because this is the month of love, and enslaved, it sounds sexy, to be quite honest with you. That's why it's here. That's why I picked it. I liked Scandal, Enslaved, and Danger were the 3 that, Rouges that I was thinking of playing with this month on my tray, but I decided to go with Enslaved. I really like this beautiful floral amber, one of the best fragrances from Rouge, and I'm going to be rocking it this month. For me this month, my tray is seriously banging. It's got some heavy hitters in here, and it's only fixing to get heavier. Next up is Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. I remember wondering how is it that people can go through Baccarat Rouge 540 so quickly, and I'm here to tell you that when I spray this fragrance on, even though it's an extrait, I don't really particularly smell it as heavy as I thought I would, and I absolutely enjoy wearing it. One of my favorite fragrances for this month, and the bottle's red, so it fits the theme of February. So yeah, Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait. With all the new releases coming out, not a lot of people are talking about Rolling in Love much, but for this month, being the month of love, I think Rolling in Love by Kilian is one of the fragrances I had to include in my collection. It's the color of love. It's a fragrance that has love in its name, and it smells like love. I love it. It's soft, it's sweet, it's a little gourmand on my skin, and I love gourmand, so I don't mind it. But one of the reasons I pull this out is because it's one of my favorites. I have not been wearing it a lot, and this is the perfect month for it. So Rolling in Love by Kilian. I surprised myself by selecting this perfume for my February lineup because I wasn't really checking for it to put in the lineup this month. I was just trying out other perfumes to see what I was going to keep and what I was going to let go. And I looked at Oud Nude, I sprayed it on my skin, and I was like, oh, you need to be in my lineup this month. I mean, literally, no rhyme or reason other than I sprayed it. I was immediately reminded why I really enjoyed this fragrance, why I purchased it, why I like it so much. And I'm like, you know what? You need some play this month. You need some love this month. You're nude, but you're not really nude. Plus, nude, month of love, je ne sais quoi. You know what we're talking about here. Okay? Anyways, Oud Nude is a fragrance that's a beautiful vanilla. It has some sandalwood elements to it. And one of the things that I really like about this perfume is that it's understated. It's not like loud. It's nothing like that. It's very elegant. So Oud Nude by Galant is in my perfume tray this month. Now, a fragrance that is definitely not quiet is Soriso by Perfume Aroma. This fragrance is loud. And when I say loud, I don't mean loud and screechy and ugly, but loud and beautiful in its expression. On the skin, you get the chocolate, you get the cocoa vibes. It's very sweet on the skin and it lingers. So the sillage that Soriso gives me whenever I wear it, I always get compliments because people would walk past me and you could see their head turning like, what is that? What did I smell? It's a beautiful fragrance. Definitely very much, I think, very much worth the investment I made to purchase it. So this is Soriso by Perfume Aroma. The next fragrance is one that I have not worn in a while. This is Carnal Flower by Frederic Malle, and the perfumer is Dominique Ropillon. Now, I was looking at this perfume and I was like, I haven't worn you in a while. There wasn't any rhyme or reason as to why I selected it other than that. I felt that I needed to wear it some more to see whether I'm going to keep it in my collection. I think I will because every time I wear it, I do love it. And that's why it's in my February lineup. The next perfume, however, there was some intention behind why it's in my perfume tray this month. It's Orchid Vanille by Van Cleef & Arpels. Now, you're looking at a huge dent in this perfume, and that only occurred last year. The reason why it has this big dent is because I read somebody's comment about how they couldn't smell it, and I pulled it out and I was like, wait a minute, I can't smell it either. And I kept spraying and spraying and spraying, and recognized that it was because I was not feeling well. So it had something to do with the reason why I couldn't smell it on my skin. But after I layered it with Cookie Butter by Skin Potions, let me tell you, child, you couldn't tell me nothing. I kept getting compliments from my husband. My daughter was like, well, you smell really nice. And I loved the blend of the orchid vanilla. I really like it. It's very, in my opinion, it's very elegant. It's very sophisticated. I love this fragrance. And it's forever going to be my collection. I think this is one fragrance I will definitely repurchase after this bottle is done. Another fragrance that I've heard people say negative things about, but I love is Lune Filine by Atelier des Eaux. I really love this fragrance. It's a beautiful amber vanilla fragrance. It is sweet. It does have a slightly burnt vanilla vibe going to it, and it actually layers really well with what I mentioned before by Skin Potions, the cookie butter. Now, this is one of the fragrances in my collection that I always wear during the winter time. That's normally the only time that I pull it out. And Texas don't really have no winters. So I don't know why that's the only time I'm pulling it out. But this year, I am committed to wearing more of my fragrances. So I pulled it out this month. It's going to get more wear. If you have Lune Filine in your collection, please let me know whether you like, love, or hate this fragrance. Next up, we have a delicious fragrance from Sol de Janeiro. And if you love Sol de Janeiro, the body mist, you will love Cheriosa. This is such a pretty, I would say pretty fragrance, but also really delicious. It is just all of that. It has a nutty vibe. It's caramelic. It just always gets me compliments when I wear it. Now, I do find that when I layer it with the actual body spray, that I get a lot more compliments, but it all depends on what vibe I'm going for with Cheriosa 62. If I was being completely honest, this perfume is not really one you really need to have if you love the body mist. But I have it in my collection. I love wearing it. It's not a necessity, but I know I love wearing it because it makes me feel yummy. If you happen to have Cheriosa 62 in your collection and you also have Cookie Butter by Skin Potions, layer those two together and let me know what you think down in the comments. Next up is a cherry fragrance that I really like. This is Rouge Smoking by BDK. I pulled this out to wear with another fragrance because somebody in my community told me that it will layer well with Guerlain's Cherry Oud. It will make Cherry Oud smell better, and it certainly did. But by itself, in playing around with this fragrance, I realized how much I love Rouge Smoking. I like the cherry aspects of it. It does not smell synthetic on my skin. It is nice and smooth. It's one of my favorites from BDK. And so this month, I'm giving it somewhere besides. I paid for it. I got to wear these fragrances up. I'm committed this year, guys. Speaking of committing, I have another fragrance from Guerlain that I bought and I haven't really been wearing. This is Rose Barbare. Now, this is probably more suited to the, spring, summertime. But for me, I think that this, I'm going through this phase where I gotta get these things in rotation. I gotta see if I love them. And I paid a pretty penny for it. So I find that, hey, if I paid for it, I gotta wear it. And every time I spray it, it gives me like that vintage rose vibe, like, back in Victorian time even. So it's a little bit of modern and a little bit of vintage. So I'm digging it. So this is Rose Barbare. It's in my tray for this month. Don't know if I'm going to keep it in my collection, but for now, I'm giving it a chance. The next perfume getting a chance is this heavy hitter here. This is Calet, and this is by Arabian Oud. I really like this fragrance. My husband really likes this fragrance as well. The problem that I have with Calet is that it is extremely strong, and then once it dries down, it smells like I'm wearing a guy's fragrance. It literally smells like that on my skin, and that's one of the problems I have with this fragrance. But this month, I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to wear it with some other layering combinations and see, if it works for me or not. If I am still iffy with it, then it has to go. I am being really intentional this year. So if it's not giving me that, Pam, you got to keep me, it's got to go. So this is Calet by Arabian Oud. It is in that committance to wearing up all my perfumes that I am really, every month, I am putting a lot of perfumes on my list. Now, Poets of Berlin is one that I have had in my collection. I want to say it's almost a year now. I really love this fragrance a lot, but I was not wearing it. It has a nice tropical vibe to it. It is a little gourmand on my skin. It gives what it gives. I really like it a lot. I have no idea why I have not been wearing it. So this month, it's definitely getting some play. So this is Poets of Berlin by Wilhelm Parfumerie. So another fragrance that I have not been wearing and it needs to get some play is Grand Soir by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. Guys, I really honestly was thinking of letting go of this perfume because on my skin I was getting, I don't know, it just gave me more masculine vibe and I just wasn't feeling that anymore. I mean, I was getting compliments, but I just didn't want to smell like a dude, right? And then what ended up happening is I just by accident, added Eau Juan Intense by Fragrance Du Bois. Wow, wow, wow. I know this video is going long and long, but allow me a few minutes to talk about this combination. Fire. Capital F, capital I, capital R, and capital E. This fragrance eats down. Now, I love Eau Juan Intense by itself. I think it's one of my favorites from the house of Fragrance Du Bois. I have smelled others that I do not have in my collection, and I still think Eau Juan Intense is, lining, I would say, in the top 3 for me with Fragrance Du Bois. I love the way this fragrance smells in the intensity. It has a little bit of, I would say, gourmand vibes to it. It also has a little bit of floral elements and is slightly sticky as well. I absolutely love this fragrance. So that's why it's sticking in this month's lineup. I wasn't able to pull out like one fragrance from this house because, to be honest with you, I have the fragrances all over the house and I'm always spraying them. This is Theia Pharaoh. This is a small black-owned brand out of New Jersey, and the fragrances are quite affordable for a niche house. Now, I think that I'm going to reach for reparations this month and say, okay, that's the fragrance from Theia Pharaoh I'm going to be wearing for sure this month. But to be honest with you, I sprayed a cloud. I spray all of them every single day. I'm always playing around with it. So this is Theia Pharaoh, and this is a small black-owned fragrance brand. There is absolutely no way this month is going to go by and I'm not going to wear my favorite perfume from this house. This is another black-owned fragrance house. It's called Savwa Fair. Now, my absolute favorite perfume from Savwa Fair is Soul Cafe. And if I'm not mistaken, Soul Cafe is their #1 seller. Absolutely love this perfume. It's blended by hand, bottle boxed everything by hand. I love this company, but this one here, it's my baby. I love Soul Cafe, so this is definitely in my perfume lineup this month. If you are new here, my name is Pamela, or Pam to those of you that are already members of the Pam fam, and I really appreciate you watching today's video, specifically making it this far. Now, I do recognize I have a lot of heavy hitters this month in my lineup, but guys, I gotta wear these fragrances. Let me know if any of these perfumes I talk about today, if you have them in your collection, or you're planning on picking them up, whether you like them, you love them, or you're indifferent. I wanna hear from you in the comments. Not subscribe to the channel, you like this type of content, it's providing value to you, please consider subscribing and joining the family. So my dears, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Please take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.